All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Salt, Ships, and Scuttlebutt, a World of Warships podcast, hosted by yours truly, in the flesh now, Captain Greene 123, and
I promise I'm not a Smurf, but I'm really SeaLord. Hi. I didn't have time to put my studio lighting up, so I'm just gonna be blue. However that song goes.
So we missed last week. Actually, wait a minute. Now that we have the face cam going.
Oh yeah, that's true. We do.
We can't just shun people off to left stage and then have them come in after we do our little back and forth. So as you guys can clearly see, just full honesty, this is the first time he's there for me.
He's there for me, and I'm recording. So
we're not used to recording with face cams, but we kind of decided to wing it and go with it. So here we are. We are joined this week by PaintUFast. How you doing?
I'm doing glorious.
There we go. That's good. Glorious is a step in the right direction.
Yep.
So, SeaLord, before, and we'll keep this brief because I don't want to get more DMs about the intro. What happened? You said something happened at the SeaLord residence.
Yes,
for the ninth
SeaLord
time.
residence at 4:00 in the morning. I was awoken by a smell, and it's the oh so recognizable smell of electronics on fire.
Oh,
and I woke up like, oh, this isn't good. And then behold, above me, as my eyes focused, the fan was on fire above my bed. I was like, oh, this isn't good. Like, if y'all seen the first episode of Supernatural, when the girlfriend and the mom just to the ceiling, and then not too dissimilar from my situation. So I was replacing a fan Friday evenings. That's why I didn't live stream this evening. But yeah, that's happened now. So plumbing, all that jazz, wonderful.
At this point, man, just like get a priest. Like there's just Payne. I don't know if you've kept up. He's had his truck get hit.
Yes.
His other truck catch on fire.
Yes.
Was that the car door exploding? Or was that another thing?
No, that wasn't the car door exploding. It could be at this point. I don't. Oh, the button for the door got caught in the door too when I went to pick it up. And then what else? Oh yeah, the plumbing in the house just died.
You sent a photo. It looked like a Minecraft strip mine in your fucking room.
I had the Mines of Moria in my bathroom for 2 days, and I'm just sleeping, and there's just this pit next to my bed where they dug out all the plumbing. I'm like, oh
man.
And
so get a priest.
I should at this point. I mean, I don't know what else is going on, but
it's wild. That's how it goes, man. Once one thing starts, everything else just keeps piling on.
Yeah, I fully agree with that sentiment now after this the previous month.
I thought I had it bad with the BMW, where I just had my car kind of catch fire, and then I had an oil leak as well that I had to deal with. But it's an older BMW, so those expected parameters. Yeah. But every week, SeaLord just like I'm expecting him just to come in and just be like, my house doesn't have a roof anymore.
Oh, actually,
oh my god!
The corner right here, right here is rotting. The roofing guy's coming under me. I'm not making this up. I swear.
Oh my god!
I swear, I'm not making this up.
Get a priest, dude. Get a priest.
The house is
all the king's horses. Sell, move.
I am. My new house is being built at this moment.
Who's buying that?
Do you own this place?
The place. So I'm with family right now. Okay. So thankfully none of this is out of my pocket. I just have to deal with it.
Geez.
But the new house hopefully won't do this for at least 50 or so years.
Right.
So. But yeah, I mean, this house was built 1952, so it's not unexpected, but it's just it all at once it decided to. But that's all right. So, what warships?
World of Warships.
Beautiful segue. Oh no,
So-
our guest.
Yeah. You stupid dude. He's not gonna think we're professional.
Oh,
He's not gonna think we're professional if we keep.
wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I know. Lower expectations.
I'll try to keep them there. I understand.
So, oh my God, I'm still just trying to. I was joking about your roof
I know,
dying.
it's-
Oh my goodness. So, World of Warships. So, Paint, actually, as our guests, I'm always very curious whenever we have people onto the podcast that we haven't had on before. So this is season 2, episode 7, but before Griefer and I, we ran, I think 115 episodes. So, and we've had a lot of people onto the podcast. We had a lot of repeats, but something that I've always enjoyed doing is talking to people that I haven't had the pleasure of speaking to before. So I'm going to hit you with some really basic, hard-hitting questions.
For it.
What got you into WoWs?
I think happenstance, honestly. I was playing on PlayStation and just looking for things to play. And it was, free to play game. And I don't know if I classify as an actual World War II history buff, but I very much enjoy it. I'm intrigued by it. So, some amount of realism and whatnot, like it definitely puts me down the path that I find interesting. Just started playing it. I just had my 6-year anniversary on Legends, but I have not been playing for 6 years. I played for a while, fell away, played again, fell away, and then got a PC and downloaded it on PC a little over like a year and a couple months ago. And started, I don't know, probably 9 months ago, like playing every day.
Yeah.
Really getting into it. I got into a small clan, and we were called the Window Lickers. And not super active or anything, and I played with them a lot. And then one day the guy running it was like, "Hey, we all had a fight, and we're not going to clan anymore. Like, do you want to be in charge?" I was like, "Okay, I guess I play enough. Why not?" And then I started streaming it at one point, and no one cared because it was on Twitch, and no one cared at all.
Yeah, that's
yeah. And
I've been there too.
Dude, bro, still, honestly, my Twitch is like that. I happened to stream on TikTok, and I don't know, something happened.
There we
Just
go.
kind of popped off.
There we go. That's good.
TikTok. I didn't know you could live stream to TikTok. Just showing my age. That's wild.
I was gonna say SeaLord Mountbatten, YouTube extraordinaire, doesn't know that you can stream to
outside of my little red box.
That's
on YouTube.
true.
I know nothing.
Yeah, we should probably talk at some point.
That's wild. I didn't know you do that.
The way that I came across you was awesome. I wanna first put that out there.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay, so I run Bongzi. Bongzi is very competitive, very, very, very. It's very competitive. So everybody's very serious. A lot of people treat it like a job. I treat it like a job, but I don't get to play. I do all the admin stuff, and it's terrible. And but I want you to know we had a little bit of a rough patch in clan battles, and we all signed off, and we were all just we splintered. We started doing our own thing. Like I was playing War Thunder or something, and D Square is Greene Jr. Came over into my VC and was like, "This guy just got a kill with a Kremlin, blew a horn," and I was like. I was like, what?
Come again?
I was like, oh,
are you referring to
that? Yeah! Did you not watch the clip I sent you?
Dude, this is like a roof ago, man.
God. No, but I was like, what? Oh, okay.
That's new.
Because the other thing that was really funny is I enjoyed the clip. I watched it on my phone. It was in vertical mode. I didn't even see you or the horn or anything. The reaction was just awesome. And then we were talking about it later. They're like, "Oh, this is awesome. This is great. Did you see the horn?" I was like, there wasn't a horn in the clip. What are you talking? And then I ended up watching it on desktop, and it was awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, the energy is great, and I don't want to sound like I'm being mushy, but having a very, very positive mental is 90% of the battle in this game.
Oh yeah, man.
Because you can have so many people that just get caught up in either performance or frustration, and it really resonated with us because we enjoy having fun as well inside of the game. Yeah. So that was a nice kind of lockup. Like we what's the name of the gentleman who used to be in KSC? He played all the carriers, and then he went and he started working for Wargaming Mountbatten.
Ashcants?
Yes, we had Ashcants on. This was a few years ago. They had 77 clan brawls I think it was like 9v9 or 10v10 or something. But you could fill up that whole team with clan members. We're the reason you can there's no longer game modes like that, because we took, I think it was like 9 or 10 Goonlius into it, and we just like one drop people with the bombs, and I think we ran like 9 Smolensks or something. Like it's fun, having fun is such an integral part of going the distance really in this game. So
yeah, absolutely.
I really wanted to. It was an awesome story on how it came across, and I will admit, unless I'm doing something at work, I have been tuning in. So
let's go.
You got another Twitch guy. I don't have any money. You're not getting a sub. I just put 2 flags. I want to be honest, but
listen. I tell people all the time, like if you can't gift or whatever, that's fine, man. Just be present. Yeah. Be a watcher. Be a liker on TikTok. Like that stuff's great too. I love it.
Yeah, and like I said, especially because I used to stream a lot as well back when I had some more time. Even if you aren't getting like subscribers or gifted or whatever, it's still awesome and comforting as a streamer to look down or look over to the streaming window and see that red number go up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you're either just starting off or you're just trying to carve into your market there. It's really awesome. Yes. And there's been times where I was about to shut it off, and then the number went up, and I was like, "All right, we might
taking it out.
Got to keep going."
Yeah, I've been so inconsistent with the past couple of weeks, but every time I manage to get to my Friday night stream, and I'm like, "All right, they're still here. All right, we're good."
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness!
I'm honored to hear that you feel that way about it. The sort of the shtick of the stream.
It's awesome.
I've kind of been that way always about like I'm not a rager. I am definitely a rager at different things in my life. But when it comes to games, like I just don't see the point of it. And I enjoy like doing something different, and it's been really cool to see that it like resonates with people. There are people that it doesn't resonate with, and we have them walk the plank, and we play a song and we kick them out, man. like I'm all for just having a legit like positive community, and I think it needs to happen. Like that's how a game is going to be successful.
Exactly, and that's something that's actually a very good segue, because another thing that you do that I'm really appreciative of is a lot of your newer player content is something that I've also been watching and I've been enjoying as well. And you have to understand, again, I'm not stroking the chicken here. I am like a grizzled, craggled, I've been playing since launch WoW boomer. And it's still nice to see the way that you're delivering a lot of content towards people who don't have the careers that I have or Mountbatten has in terms of just like perspectives and basics and stuff. Because and that's actually something that I've been kind of working to overcome, especially here on the podcast, is because I've gotten DMs all the time where I'll talk about something like, for instance, I don't know if you listen to any episodes of the podcast, but Mountbatten, when we were talking about Japanese cruiser torps, and people were talking. I brought up the point that when you have incredibly fast torpedoes, high detect is a lot less of a problem on them. And a lot of people were like, "Well, what do you mean detect?" And I was just kind of sitting there, and I was like,
"Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh okay,
yeah." Dude, I totally get that. I was thinking of how I would describe myself recently, like before we talked, and I think I'm gonna, at least for a long time, try to be a professional casual gamer.
Yeah,
and come from that perspective in WoWs of like, you know, the people that are just coming in, like if they're gonna, how are they gonna know the basics and stuff that I already take for granted, that I'm sure is 5 levels down from where you guys are at. I have to like slow down
maybe
and be
me,
like, wait,
not Mountbatten, maybe
no. So I'm really
no.
trying to embrace that. I like it.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, that newer perspective is awesome because as again somebody who's been, and this is definitely something that Mountbatten has made a whole bunch of videos on, is just player bleed.
yeah.
And I feel like part of that issue can stem from some of the decisions that the company has been making, but I think that another part of it spawns from the fact that you have a group of players who have been playing for such a long time. And I don't want to, how shall I phrase this? Like, they don't want to either take the time, or they don't want to burden themselves with working with a lot of the new players, and especially with all of the mechanics and all of the stuff that you have to keep track of in a game. It's like taking an infant and throwing it into the ocean. It's just, you know, it's way too much, way too quickly. And I think that bridging that gap in this game is key, because even with where I am in the game, so with Bong Z, I have a lot of times when I'll get DMs from people and they're like, "You don't, you know, care about the game. You don't care about new players. Like, you don't care about the future of the game. You just want to win." And then I have somebody calling me a cheater and war packs and all that stuff. But which is funny because I'm terrible. But something I always try and respond with is that's not at all what anybody who's rational in the competitive scene would want, regardless of the position that they're in. Because more players is good. More players is more teams to play. And
Right.
when you have a culture in a game that is growing and self-sustaining, it's awesome. I don't like playing the same 3 clans every night at clan battles.
Sure.
It sucks. I want more people to play. I want more people up at this level.
Yeah.
And I just really want to commend you and say that again.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I am, I am, you know, I really enjoy the game, and it's not lost on me as I've started to pay more attention. I'm like, you know, when you look at the player count, like, we could stand to have a lot more people playing the game.
Yeah.
And like, great, so let's do that. And you know, it's shocking how many people don't know about it or they haven't seen it, and then when they see it, they talk about how beautiful it is or how much fun it is, or you know, whatever. And like let's go, then get people in. I'm definitely really trying to do that. And like, I have built up many of the people that I play with all like came from my streams. Like, we have built up this like our own like silo community, you know, of like positive people that are just here to learn and grow, and like, many of them outclass me already. Which is awesome, and it's a ton of fun. I love it.
Yeah.
It's weird that like there's new players coming in, because like all the time in my comment section I'll get questions like simple stuff like, you know, torpedo detect, or like this, that, and the other things that are pretty basic and fundamental. And when I do like these new player guide videos, these tips and tricks videos, they do pretty well. And it's like, well, if this community is, you know, really just a bunch of old people that have been playing for 5+ years, these videos really shouldn't get any views, but they're often some of the most viewed videos. So there's people coming in. I think a lot of the frustration comes from, you know, the lack of a tutorial, the big learning curve, and all that jazz. And again, a lot of the negativity, because you get people in-game chat and such just ripping on poor people that are just trying to figure out, you know, the game and how the game works and stuff. So,
Dude, I get the chat rallies against me and says that they got to report me for being terrible all the time. I'm like, what the guys fire really hard, dude.
nah, I get that.
The thing that I really don't like about that kind of mentality is you don't know what's going on with the other people in your game. You could have a fat nerd like me coming out of school who had a lot of time to dump into the game. I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't have to work. So I'd finish my class, I'd do my work, and play some games.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that there's this whole different perspective, not perspective, but there's a whole different gradient to people in terms of time commitment and, building that game sets. Because if there's some players who are like, oh, X ship is going to end up in Y position and do 1, 2, and 3. And they can see it 3 minutes ahead of time. And then there's other people who are like, holy shit, there's a Shima in front of me. I need to smoke and run away now.
Yeah.
And, so there's different stages of, everybody's at different points in terms of being able to read the game. And that's why, because I'll have people who I'll be playing with, and they're like, this is the most mentally deficient player I think I've ever seen. And, you'll see like a Ragnar go into the middle and then fight like 2 Des Moines and lose. And it's like, okay, maybe let's try a cruiser. Let's do something else, because it's just, everybody's at different places in their journeys. I mean, again, people see the Bonk Z tag and like, this person's going to be great. And then I get one shot because I'm playing Khabarovsk and I take full AP pens and I'm like,
these things happen.
Standard Khabarovsk experience.
Dude, sometimes Khabarovsk hits and then other times I get like 15K by a Yamato and I get violent. I start yelling. Don't get me started.
Is it Smoker Hill Khabarovsk?
Oh, Heel.
Okay,
Mama
you're
Greene
doing better than a lot. You're doing better than a lot.
Mama Greene did not raise a bitch. I'm gonna thug it out if I can at all possible. But and that's something that I always try but that mentality, that negative mentality, is something I always try and counter because, again, if I play a game and I have somebody calling me names and slurs and calling me dog shit, eventually I'm just gonna be like, yeah, dude, I don't give a shit. Like I'm done, or I'm just not gonna learn. And both of those are not good.
No, I don't understand the gaming communities that like embrace the negativity. Like I get it. The guys are gonna be like, "Oh, we're super tough," and I'm like, "No, like you're all a bunch of dorks. Like, stop doing that. Like, it's not cool." So yeah, I mean, I fully relate. When you talk about like where people are at, when I first got sort of serious again playing World of Warships on my PC. I'm a dad of 3 kids. I coach baseball. I until a week ago was the operations manager for 2 really big data centers. And like super busy doing all this stuff. I would get online. I'd put everybody in bed, hang out with my wife.
Yeah.
I'd turn on my PC. I'd play for 45 minutes. That's a game.
And then you're like,
yeah,
good night.
Well, that's all I had. Like, because if I didn't go to bed, I wouldn't make it to work.
Yeah.
So like, that's all I got. I play 1, maybe 2 games, and that was my experience. So like, I didn't know everything. I didn't have time to learn it.
That's the one thing I always try and remind people is like that. Poor 17-9 Shima you're yelling at is probably some electrician that's working like 14-hour days and he's just trying to enjoy his boat game before he crashes.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand. It's not like empathy, but like you need to understand that not everybody's a carbon copy of yourself in terms of being able to play.
That's the vast majority of the player base right there.
Now,
absolutely.
If it's a hipper in a rank map at rank match at the back of the map shooting at HE all game and he calls you dog shit, that's a completely different story. I'm gonna yell at you. But again, like you'll have somebody YOLO and it's just like whatever. They thought they could get away with it.
Right.
And not everyone realizes that, like, your average World of Warships player doesn't come home, play World of Warships, and has like
Yeah.
2 streams, 3 videos running on World of Warships in the background, and knows everything about
Yeah,
the game.
they're not plugging World of Warships into their head.
No.
When they're not playing, like, oh, I need to memorize all of these new detect ranges. Oh.
Right.
Oh.
And none of those guys have a trumpet. Not a one.
Yeah, exactly. I just had the image of like a bus driver or something, just listening to World of Warships, and you just go nuts with the trumpet, and they just or something like that. That just a little funny. The thing that kind of popped into my head there.
That's funny.
So I actually had a few questions sent in by viewers. Most of them are from D Square. You made a very good impression on D Square.
Awesome.
That is awesome, because he's very difficult to make a first impression on sometimes.
Why, even better.
Yeah. He wanted to know we're going to sprinkle these in, because I'm not just going to dump a block on you and, just make you feel like you're getting interrogated. His first and foremost question was he wanted to know your thoughts on the different classes and how they interact.
Ooh.
Yes.
He's making an assumption that I am way more thoughtful about the game than I am. I am definitely still, sort of learning and understanding how everything goes. I mean, obviously, I understand the basics of the game and where different ships can be valuable. I think there's a lot of things that I still don't have down, or I still have to learn and figure out. The first tier 10 ship I got was a Shimakaze, and for the longest time, I'm like, I keep dying in gunfights, and they're like, well, stop doing that. And I'm like, oh, I guess you're right, and I still run in with it and get killed, but I'm getting better. I'm learning more and more about the value of each of the different sort of assets of them. I think there is no value in a cruiser at this point, and I know that's not true, and people will be mad I said that, but I'm awful in cruisers. Aircraft carriers, I know that everybody hates them, but like the value of spotting and whatnot with them is massive. And then, being able to either run down destroyers or, like me, get distracted trying to sink the other carrier and let your whole team down. These things happen. So I don't know how to truly answer his question thoughtfully, but I can say that I spend a lot of time still trying to figure it out myself and figure out where each thing really fits in, and especially sort of the nuance of the different ships, like a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser. Like, that is not in my brain. It's not. They're all cruisers, and they're all battleships, and I know that's not true, but that's where I'm at right now.
No, definitely 100%, and I think that at surface level, that's still a really good starting point when it comes to a very important skill in the game, which is threat recognition. Because again, if you're in a destroyer and you get, there's an American cruiser within 10 kilometers of you, that little voice in the back of your head should be going, radar, 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 regardless of what it is. And even if it's something like a Seattle or a Cleveland where it doesn't have that full 10-kilometer range, it's still good to operate or to get into the habit of operating under that assumption and kind of jumping through those hoops when you go in your head. I mean, I'm not telling you, this is just to kind of clarify my point. I'm not saying that everybody has to read a fucking thesaurus on everything as they load into the game, but it's still good to kind of keep in your mind, okay, lots of guns shoot quickly, ouch, maybe radar leave.
Yep.
Like that's how my brain functions. Whenever I play boats, it's like Japanese cruiser, probably torpedoes. Turn. And then I turn. I'm like,
when we started clan battles, the guys in my chat they're there and they're like, this one has a radar or whatever. And I'm like, how do you even know that? Like, I didn't even know how to know that. And then, I've started, I'm like, okay, I got it. Like now I know some of them. And I don't think I know every single one, but now I know how to check, and so like I try to do that now, and and we talk about it and think through it, understand the range that I have to stay within so that I can still be effective. Yeah, and like I think those little nuggets and details come with time.
Oh, 100%.
You can't learn it all. Like it's just
Time
not
and
practical.
pain.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say pain. I could get dementia. I will still remember that Russian radars are 12 kilometers because when I was my Moskva slave sitting on my rock, it was beaten into me. If you think something's within 12 km, fucking pop it.
Right.
That's your whole job. That's the reason why you're there. Pop the radar. And like I said, that's why I think that it's really good for newer players to really kind of have SeaLord's videos and your content as well, because there's like 300 ships in this freaking game, and they're not all clones.
No.
So, I mean, there's times where it's like, I'm fighting a Bliskevica. What's its gun range? And it's just, I don't remember. I don't care. Like, it's just something that's just slipped out. But knowing kind of those general thresholds, I think, is really important. So, like I was saying, American ship, radar, 10 kilometers, long duration, lots of vision, mean lots of ouch rain. Don't get within 10 kilometers. Same thing with Russian stuff like that. I think it will get you 90% of the way, especially in randoms. You don't have to 3.2694999 kilometers. No, you don't care. That's not important. That's not applicable. It's even a rough generalization is more than passable, especially in randoms.
Rough knowledge, like a basic knowledge, not even like you said, not even an in-depth, scope of knowledge about the game will get you so far. You'll probably be well north of 50% in terms of win rate if you just have like a general-ish knowledge about the game and the classes and such and the characteristics of ships, which doesn't sound like much, but again, when there's no tutorial or anything, that it can be a mountain getting there.
Yeah. Dude, the learning curve, as soon as you stop facing bots, because the bots are impossible to kill, and then you're like, oh, I got this. I'll go to tier 6, and then you're like, what the heck? Like every game, you get
sitting there, like, I remember that. I had me being in a New Mexico, and I get shafted by a North Carolina. I had that moment where I was like, okay, I can't be looking to brawl still. This is not going to work.
Right.
And then I ground out GK, and I proceeded to in GK for like 200 games. Did not learn that lesson.
Well,
but
I still haven't, so it's all right.
Yeah. So that's that's a good perspective. I think that's good. Knowing where you are along a journey is 90% of the way towards completing it. Having the ability to ascertain like directly where you are in terms of progression or like what you're currently capable of is integral towards higher game stuff. There's reason I kind of used that deduction method when I was retiring myself from clan battles. I was like, why am I going to play? There's people who are better than me. I've reached my limit. I've hit my ceiling. I'm going to go push paper now. You boys have fun. But that's also allowed me to excel in other areas of the game because, again, I know where I am, and I don't know. I'm rambling.
Good.
Sometimes. Other times I talk about taxes and then I get DMs.
Man.
Stop talking about cars. Stop talking about taxes. Sorry, just talking about a car I want. Yeah, so shoot me for talking about something I like. Sorry.
Yeah.
I actually had somebody DM me and say, we don't care about SeaLord's car. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, what?
I care. I care a lot.
I was like,
What
didn't,
kind
like-
of a day must you be having that you took
Yeah,
time to
like-
send that message?
who killed your dog? Like, what
Right.
happened? That you're like, meh, meh.
Oh, there's been
SeaLord's
of
having a
that.
lot of stuff going on in his life. Meh, I don't care about it. Meh, talk about the boat game.
Oh my god. It's the public is an amazing creature. Oh.
Dude, yeah, creature. That's
Dude, so
a
like
very good word.
I had a beautiful I'll have to send it to y'all afterwards, like a moment in my comments section. So I was talking about Lesta and all what's going on with them and the Russian government just going, you know what? We like that $200 million you make. And then they take it. And then like, so at the start of the video, I had like a 3-minute segment where I went back, like I just explained what Lesta is, because no one knows who Lesta is, right? It's a company that made Wood Warships, the studio that made Wood Warships, was bought by Wargaming. You know, that for like 3 minutes, explaining how they split and stuff. And one of the comments was like, it takes 3 minutes to get to the point. Who cares about this? And literally the comment underneath that is like, who's Lesta? Like literally underneath that comment. And I'm like, there are 2 types of people that watch YouTube videos.
Oh my goodness. You're just sitting there like, come on, man. Come on. Come on.
So, yeah.
I was going to ask if we wanted to talk about that. Is that something...
I mean, it's related to Wood of Warships. I mean, it's the company that made it. I guess it's a slow news week, so why not slow half a news week? Slow half of a month. I mean,
it's like weird to me that this is happening.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because it was like, okay, maybe once this whole Ukraine-Russia thing's over, maybe the 2 companies will reconcile, and we'll get some of the good stuff that's happened at Lesta, some new lines and stuff after the whole situation is over. But I don't think Lesta's going to be a company here, and I think the trial's set for like May, so I don't think they're going to be a thing really in a few more months if it keeps going the way it's going.
Do you know what's going on, Mr.
No.
Paint? Okay.
Okay.
So,
I see it.
there we go. The World of Warships, World of Tanks from Wargaming, developed by Lesta. Lesta is one of those Eastern European, but not Russian, but Russian countries. Like, they're based out of Cyprus.
Okay.
Well, Wargaming's based out of
Which
Cyprus.
is not... Yeah, but that was originally before they split. But regardless, they during, I think it was a year into the Russian Ukrainian war.
2022.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Regardless, the Russian entity kind of split off and started doing its own thing. So we lost the Russian server and all of their infinite Rush B wisdom. And it was terrible. They introduced a whole bunch of different stuff into their game because they still have like the World of Warships client and the IP. So they it was kind of a split off. They put super subs in and they started doing a whole bunch of different stuff as well. But yeah, recently the Russian government has accused the company wholesale of extremist activities, and they're looking to liquidate and gain control of the company.
The real kicker is that the extremist activities they're accusing Lesta of doing is a charity thing that Wargaming did, where they raised money to buy ambulances for Ukrainian civilians. And this is a year after the 2 companies had split already, right? So like, Lesta and Wargaming split, and Wargaming gave Lesta control of like water tanks, water planes, water warships in Russia and Belarus, and Wargaming closed down all of their offices and such. So they started doing that. A year later, Wargaming does the charity thing for the tanks. That would be more extremist.
Careful.
for the ambulances.
Yeah, that might be where the problem lies.
Armored ambulances with turrets.
With a 150 millimeter gun. But anyway, so yeah, it's a year later, and like Lesta, all during this time, like they go wild apparently for like Russia Day, or like what was it, May 6th, the Victory Day?
Yeah,
they go
Day.
mad out for that. They have these crazy Russian Federation camos and stuff for the ships. That they've been like 100% pro Russia this entire time, but the Russian government went no.
Bad news.
We like
You're now
that money.
terrorists.
Yeah, because before, Wargaming, like many a company, is based financially out of Cyprus, which I don't know if you're familiar with Cyprus. Lots of laws, very little tax laws. So you can get away with, like, I forget how low the tax rate is there, but it's something ridiculously low. So
I think it's like 3.5%.
yeah,
It is
it's beautiful. Beautiful.
And that's what you report.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. So Cyprus, it's something obscene like that.
Great place
So
to
a
be
lot
if
of
you're a
companies.
corporation.
Yeah, no, if you want to, I don't know, launder money,
Right.
It's perfect.
So, and like Wargaming like generates like $1 billion a year, right? So
Yeah,
like,
their profit line is insane.
crazy. So all that money was going to Cyprus, but now since Lesta, can't go to Cyprus because Cyprus is a member of the EU, sanctioned Russia. So all the money's staying within Russia. So now I guess the Russian government's like, oh, we can get some of these nerds money, okay? And they just, you're actually terrorists now, sir. They're charging Kivsley with extremism too. The guy that owns Wargaming, Victor Kivsley, from the way the article reads, and he's a Belarusian. He started the company.
I was gonna say he's like fucking.
Kivsley started the company in Belarus. The headquarters used to be in Minsk in Belarus. That was a studio that made World of Tanks. But I think he's since moved to Cyprus, so I guess he's out of the Russian government's reach. I hope so. Yeah.
That Victor Kinsley dude, I forgot about him. He is insane. There's
He might appear behind you for saying that.
There was a whole bunch of stories back because I played competitive World of Tanks before I played WoWs.
Oh,
so I'm
sorry.
It was pretty bad. I've been playing wargaming titles for as long as the company's been publishing. I was essentially a child soldier in World of Tanks, but I got better now. Now I'm an adult soldier. But like Victor Kinsley used to just his Twitter was insane. I don't know if you guys know they wiped it.
Oh,
like
dang.
Wargaming came by and they were like, "Listen, you're done. You're done. Give us the login. You're done." Because he would just post like he would just post pictures of him like there was a video of him in a bathtub covered in euros, and he was just like, I might put the Type 59 on sale again. I don't know. I'm running out of money. Like he would just post stuff like that on Twitter. He was criminally insane, and I loved it so much. Some other things I wasn't very, very big fan of. Back in 2014, when Russia seized Ukrainian territory, he was like, womp womp. He was just like, I don't care, I'm Russian. Like, this is good for me. I don't know why you guys want a statement from me.
This is the guy they're calling a terrorist?
Yeah, that's the thing that's really great. Crazy to me, is this guy is as Gopnik as they come. And they're still just like, yeah, so anyways, you're a terrorist. I didn't believe it when the first article came out. I actually did not believe it. Because the article that I posted here has been all over the Bonks Discord. And first off, it was PC Gamer, so I'm just like, I don't care. Their articles aren't usually all that good. And then like I got a follow-up one where it was like, yeah, so they're going to trial. The date's in May. And I'm like, oh, so this is like
for reals.
Yeah,
this is a thing.
Yeah. A lot of people have that same attitude because like the first couple of articles that I was given was like from, I don't know, like probably like Russian tabloids or whatever.
Yeah, it's from like Igor Vladinsky's Paper Network, and you're just like, I don't believe a word you say.
Yeah. And then the second one was from like Russia's version of like PBS, I guess. It's some state-owned news company, and it's like, okay, well, this is like the Russian government saying it now, so I guess it's real. So it's wild.
Yeah, the first few articles were posted on like you guys remember the like message boards and chat boards and stuff?
Yeah.
Where it was all in like HTML.
Yeah,
And it just looked like shit. That's the type of articles that I got sent. That's the website that were hosting those articles. And I was like, somebody was on meth. They wrote this. They're hosting it on like a MacBook Pro from 2006. There we go. And then again, like Mountbatten said, they ran with it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is this might actually hold water." Yeah, yeah. Because the other thing, I don't know if you've gone through like top to bottom the grievances, but again, it's like they like Wargaming put in a camo to the game that has like sunflowers and red or blue and gold, and they're like, again, Wargaming, separate company, but they're still like
terrorist.
They're like, yeah, Lesta, you've been pretty pro Ukraine. Like, what's going on with that? And like Lesta's like,
there's currently a Russian Navy Fleet Week event going on in Lesta's client right now, I do believe.
Yeah, like
it's insane. Yeah.
Let's. The opposition and fundraiser claims are true. In 2022, shortly after the invasion began, Wargaming, who had split from Lesta, the company raised more than $1 million through the sale of Ukrainian-themed bundles and 6 of its game to purchase ambulances for children.
And that's wild.
Yeah, again, it's the degree of separation, right? It's two different companies. Like
it's a year after the split. This isn't like a month after.
And if it was $1 million for like FPV drones, okay,
sure,
but it's like it's ambulances. Like, that's like getting upset at the UN for dropping relief rice in places. It's like, who are you getting? Why are you upset? Who is this hurting? This is doing the opposite.
It's not even Lesta.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's not even Lesta. I don't know. I'd say I hope they do well in court, but the Soviet court system has not changed. I mean, the Russian court system has not changed.
I think in one of the articles, there's a statement from the current CEO of Lesta. I can't remember his name, but
his statement is probably just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
No, his statement is like, "We have done nothing wrong. We have nothing to fear." And I'm like, don't work like that, buddy. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, I got bad news. 20 years hard labor.
No, I think the more interesting timeline is where like potentially they don't like just seize the studio, liquidate the assets, and just cash in with the money. But like Lesta becomes like ran by the Russian government. Like they replace the CEO with some oligarch or something, and now Lesta is just like a propaganda wing of the Russian government now.
It's going to be FSB's Igor Vladinsky running World of Warships.
Great.
Oh, man.
Everybody already complains about the balance. And even the people who are full, like, do the Lesta client's the way to go, which I've never shared that opinion, but like the changes that are going to come through if
Kremlin, yes, 1 million HP.
Let's go.
The Kremlin gets granite now.
I'm a Kremlin guy. Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Anyways, can check that off the list.
It wasn't even on the list.
I didn't know if that was something you wanted to talk about because I saw you put a video out.
Wargaming hasn't said a peep in the past 2 weeks, so I mean, I don't know I think they're all on vacation or something. I don't know.
No, they're all shooting at that Demolition Ranch Humvee they buy.
Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I saw it on Twitter before I deleted Twitter.
Yeah, they did that. That was kind of funny, and they put that up when they gave him that Humvee. It was like an H1 Humvee, and those are like a lot of money if they run.
They did it again.
Yeah, I know, and I'm like,
oh,
wait a
okay.
second.
I thought you were talking about the first time.
No, I'm like, wait a second. So this is in the middle of the Santa container event, and I'm like, huh. So that's where all that Santa container money went. They bought a Humvee to let Demolition Ranch just eviscerate on his channel.
Some of their PR stuff is a little funky.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like what $70,000 for a running H1 to let them shoot it.
And you can't talk about cars.
Oh my bad.
They're gonna be upset.
They're gonna be angry. Look, it says Water Warships on the Humvee, so like it's related to the game.
I'm gonna get a DM this week. It's gonna be like, I don't care if SeaLord Mountbatten's house falls into a fucking sinkhole. Do not talk about cars. Do not talk about him.
But yeah, I mean, like you do that, and then you let all those YouTubers go there and shoot it. And now you're on everybody's video, so like, it's a pretty smart marketing strategy.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But
want to go shoot a car?
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah, I'm in.
My accountant would question that right off.
You don't understand, IRS. It was marketing. That's why I went to Texas and I shot the shit out of an H1.
Yeah.
I live like 2 hours from the drivetanks.com headquarters.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
I
actually got...
What? Did you?
I
thought you were about to say you actually got to go there.
No. I got to drive a Chaffee up here in Massachusetts.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yes. So I love stuff like that.
There's some genius up in Wyoming. He opened up a private military museum. So now he has all the excuses and all the tax write-offs to just buy all the tanks that he wants. It's a beautiful thing that I want to go see.
What? I'm trying to see what they have at Drive Tanks. Maybe people won't get upset if we talked about something that's...
It's not a boat, though. That's the problem. Yeah, it doesn't float.
Yeah, none of them float.
Well, some of them might float. Some of them might float.
They all go in water.
Yeah, once, and then they don't come out. Let's see. What do we have? BMP-1. It floats.
It floats. It's a boat.
You can talk. Oh, wait, that's a P. It doesn't float. Never mind. It's a P. That had an armor add-on. They rebuilt the back doors on those, and they were too heavy to float.
Oh, rip.
Speaking of that, because you mentioned you're a history guy, and I know SeaLord Mountbatten is. Who knew putting your fuel tanks in the back door of your troop compartment in your infantry fighting vehicle would be a bad move? Well, you're smarter than the OKB that designed the BMP-1, because that's exactly what they did.
Is that where they're at?
Yes.
Oh, I see no problem with this whatsoever.
Yeah, they're in the back door.
Wow.
It's also a depressured fuel system as well. So if you heat up that back door, they found that out during the Afghan war when they just got pelted with Molotovs and the doors would explode. Anyways, new map. Speaking of exploding doors.
Okay, I'll allow that transition.
That was terrible. That was bad. So, the new map. I don't. How long has it been since we've had a new map that wasn't just north but cold?
2 years. I think the Seychelles was the latest new map.
Dude, Seychelles has to be older than that.
Sure?
I think it's closer to 3.
Faroe Islands. When did Faroe Islands come out? Those are the 2 new ones.
It came before Seychelles.
You know who'll know? Google will know. We shall ask the almighty thinking machine.
Do you know Paint?
I have no idea. Did you guys vote?
I might have influenced the vote a little bit. Apparently,
that's bad. Wait, what? How did you?
So, like, if you look at the combo that won, it is the exact combo that I went, oh, this looks nice in my video.
Rigging.
Nice.
So you're rigging it.
Recount. We call it recount.
This looks. First off, maps 3D models always look beautiful.
Yes.
I don't care what they are, how insignificant they might be, even if it's just an operation. 3D modeling department has always just utterly smashed these out of the park.
Yeah.
One was
oh my god, Dusk looks beautiful.
12.3. Sorry.
Are you guys on this article?
Yeah.
The Dusk screenshot on this map looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this looks baller.
I wonder if it's going to affect visibility, like some sort of a technical aspect to the game, or if it would just be purely cosmetic that it's at dusk.
You cannot physically understand how much I want that to be true. I think a night map, again, fat history nerd here. I love all the Guadalcanal stuff. I love all of the night actions during World War II. And I think it would be beautiful. I think it would be thematic. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
They do a lot of test runs with new potential effects and kind of cosmetic things. And they released an operation called Cherry Blossom, where they had the night mode and they had to drop flares, and people didn't like it because they're like, the Shima that I knew spawned in came closer to me and torpedoed me, and I had no way of spotting it.
Other than, came out in 2023, Faroe Islands 2022. For those wondering.
Well, now there's a corpse in his house. All right, so yeah, I guess it's 2 years. Whatever, fine, you win.
It's not like I made a video on it last week or anything.
My ego says I'm right. That's how it works. Doesn't matter. But
that would be cool. Now, I think that the ships might be physically hard to see in the darkness, because like if you run your game on max settings with the fog, it does actually it is hard to see those ships with the fog.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not a game mechanic. That's just like a visual thing. It's not like War Thunder where that's intended. So it might be a little bit hard. Depends on. I'm wondering if they're gonna have the lighting up for the ships. Like, are we gonna have navigation lights on or anything like that? I would assume not, since it's in the middle of combat. But
no, I don't think so. But regardless of, even if it doesn't change spotting or anything like that, all 3 iterations of this map, these screenshots look beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I am waiting with bated breath. Like, these look like actual photos from real life, these screenshots.
It's because they are.
Wait, what?
They're reference photos. I thought you were just complimenting the art department at first. I was like, yeah, they usually deliver pretty well when they have time to cook.
They look so realistic.
It's like, have you seen these screenshots? I'm like, unless they're new, no.
All right. So, anyways, moving on.
New topic.
New topic. We're gonna go with another D-Square question. A little bit of a palate cleanser. D-Square wanted to know, he's also been watching a lot of your content and a lot of the TikToks and stuff that you've been posting. He wanted to know if you were King Wargaming for a day and you had 3 things that you could kind of implement into some type of a rough training, or like 3 cool tips, what would you say? What would you have them be for the new players?
Okay, if I was wargaming for a day, the first thing I would do is answer me.
Yeah. I've been waiting 2 years. I want you to know that.
Yeah,
so
it's fine. I started a ridiculous mission when we first started streaming that I was going to tag him every single day. Today's day 182, I think.
183, I believe.
Yeah, I've lost track. It's a lot.
Oh, the CC program?
I've applied to the CC program a couple times, but then also like on TikTok, like I tag them literally every single day. And all of my people go in and spam the comments and tag World of Warships, and like it's a thing we do over there. Yeah, maybe someday they'll talk to me, but I don't know. Okay,
I've been waiting 2 years. not to fill you with dread. I really, you're one of the. I really want you in there because I think you do great things in the CC program. I wouldn't, but
yeah, I would just love to have. I don't want to not answer your question, but I would just love to have like some things that I can give away on stream and like make that sort of interesting. It doesn't have to be $1 million. You know what I mean? Just like some stuff that we can do to praise. I mean, a Humvee would be nice, but whatever. That can come the second time we talk. It's fine.
Hello, viewer. Here's a massive insurance payment.
Right. Good luck.
Thank you for watching the stream.
Man, 3 trainings. I think I would spend a lot of time on sort of explaining the mechanics around aiming, and like understanding. People ask me all the time about like how are you figuring out how you aim, and I know I think most people do this. I don't know, but I just guess. So like I don't know. I think there's some science to it, but like the simple things, like look at the angle of your ship, look at your mini map, and you can see the angle of their ship. Look at the smoke, and you can tell which way it might be moving or if it's speeding up or slowing down. Like just the basics of aiming and understanding how to track. And then the mini map is another one that like there's a lot to it. And I feel like it's not. I just did a video on the mini map because, and I'm sure there's 1,000 things better than that, but like those basics.
So you hit the basic nails on the head. That's another video I really wanted to compliment you on. Because I watched all your stuff and we're kind of, but that it's because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, you look at the mini map and this is how I have mine set up and this is how you should have yours set up, which I think is dog shit. I think it's a bad perspective because there's different settings and stuff that you can put on your mini map. I think a few of them are required. Like I have ship names on my mini map just because it's easier and last reported.
Yeah, last known is
There's other stuff and there's a lot of people who will swear by different setups and all, which I think is dog shit because a lot of that boils down to personal preference. But the basics that you went over in that mini map video, again, I don't want to sound like I'm yanking your chain or sucking you off. Like, very well done.
The term the youth use today is glazing.
Yeah, I'm not youth. I'm not doing that. I'm a blue collar New Englander. I'm gonna be rude, crude, and socially unacceptable.
I think the other thing that people ask me all the time is, how do you hit a citadel?
Right.
Like they're like, what's a citadel? What is that? Where is it? How does it work? And,
Common problem.
I got the black ribbon. I like the black ribbon. I want more black ribbon.
Yes, but people ask me that all the time, and there's an in-depth, nuanced answer, which is the answer that you guys know that I don't probably know, and then there's like the basic answer of like, well, look at the ribbon, and it's on there, right? It's the water line and under the turrets, and like that's the basics, and something in between there that could be explained of like how to understand it. Like if you want to know more, like here's the basics, and then if you want to know a little bit more, here's how when you look at the armor, you can see what you're looking for and where to aim if you want to do those things to learn more about ships. Like that would be another really good sort of training to put on.
Yeah. What I've always really frontlined, because I've had a lot of Citadel questions too. I've always frontlined just going into the armor viewer, and then you can strip away all those different layers. Like right now, I'm doing it with my Chakuma too, just because we were talking about Citadels, and I didn't know where the Citadel was because it's a Japanese cruiser, so I just assumed that it is a Citadel. But it's good to know roughly where it is, and I didn't know this, but the Chakuma 2 actually has what we call a step citadel, where one part of it is lower, and then there's a step up, and there's a higher bit as well. And I think that information like that is another very important thing to learn and to know. Another thing I would tie to that is penetration, because you don't want to have like a Fletcher shooting at Yamato going for the Citadel.
Well,
Right.
if you're the Johnston, that's allowed.
How'd it work out? I love the Johnson, but how did it work out?
Hey, who won the award, buddy?
Fair enough. All right.
Nothing I would add on to that, and I've mentioned before in plenty of my new player videos, is that the training room is free. It's a wonderful place to go, and if you're just too, because I'm like that, like there's times when like my 8 brain is just like number confusing, how work. Go into the training room and just play with it. Just find out what angles you can Citadel this ship from. How well does this ship perform against that ship's armor in terms of the guns and such. And it's completely free. You use 0 resources. You use literally nothing. It's literally free. And there's a lot of things that like the in-game armor viewer does leave out, because Wargaming likes to sneak in some things here and there. Like Slava, for example, I believe it's nigh impossible to Citadel Slava through the nose or the stern, because there's some armored boxes in between the nose and the stern armor in the Citadel. So
that is something that I fucking despise.
Yeah.
In terms of the armor viewer,
it hides
like
stuff.
you'll be watching videos and you're like, oh, 32 millimeter bow, but I can never bow Citadel it. What's going on here? And then you have to go into some obscure third-party website, and it feels like you're summoning a demon. Because again, it's HTML, it's a sketchy website. You immediately get the hey, support us, and you're like, hey, that's a virus. I'm not clicking that. But eventually, when you peel back all the layers and you get to the model, it's like, oh, there's a fucking 50 millimeter like diagonal plate across the entire bow. Why?
Has it too under stern, yeah.
It's like, why is this not in the armor model?
It's so important too. So it's
yeah. I think that in World of Warships, the armor model is one of my favorite import utilities in the game. The ability to look at something, because if I just had a new player and I was like, hey, Moskva has a 50 millimeter icebreaker. What does that mean? It's very difficult to kind of break the ice. And,
there's ice in
kind of.
That's what you'd get.
That was almost as bad as me gushing over fucking reference photos. But yeah, like casemate. That's another thing. It's like, what is this going on? But being able to peel back the layers and everything with the armor viewer is awesome. And it's a very powerful tool when it comes to teaching people.
The game is deceptively simple. I should say, it presents itself as deceptively simple when you look at all the stats in port. Mm-hmm. But then, like, you go to these third-party websites that kind of peel back the curtain a little bit more. And, like, there's things like Croup that is not in-game, which is or is it Krupp? How do you say it? It's Krupp. It's not Croup. Krupp, whatever. I'm infamous for not being able to pronounce anything. But that's not present in game, and that's a very important aspect. That's how I believe the TLDR description is. It's how rigid your shells are. So the higher Croup you have, the better your shells are at penetrating armor and such. That and like air drag coefficient, and among other things, are things that are very important. Sigma is so important, and we talk about it all the time. Not in game, not present in game.
Oh, this ship has a 2.0 Sigma. What is that?
Yeah.
Which again, it's not. I don't stuff like that. I don't think is adequately described.
No.
And again, you have people like myself. You have people like Mountbatten who've been playing the game for a very, very long time, and it's been hammered into me. It's the circle of dispersion around the ship, basically, and the tendency of booms to land in middle or outer of circle. Like when you boil it down, it's in simple thing to kind of wrap your head around, but it's just not explained at all.
No.
Which I think that's honestly, that's my biggest complaint, actually, when it comes to newer players. Sorry to kind of hijack your question. Is that stuff like that isn't... I manifest destinying it. I'm sorry. Stuff like that isn't explained in port because, you know, those numbers are very important, and those terms are very important when it comes to understanding specifically, you know, what your ship can and can't do. That's what separates me in Des Moines from a D-Square in Des Moines. But don't ever fight D-Square in Des Moines. He will just kill you. So
duly noted.
Don't. But so, and that's something that I would very much kind of like to put in. And again, it's something that you can go and Google. I assume Mountbatten has a video. There's a lot of people out there who have explained it, but it's not there in the client. So it's not accessible. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm rambling again. I got lost in the pretty pictures. Or the reference photo, sorry. Another thing that I kind of wanted to discuss here that we got, again, very slow news week. So riveting stuff here. The credit guide that they posted when it comes to boosters and stuff is not actually terrible. Wargaming, when it comes to a lot of these written kind of tutorials, I feel like are way too surface value when it comes to going over stuff. But the video's good. The screenshots are good. It kind of explains everything. And one of the reasons why I was very actually happy that this got posted is I watched another one of your videos. I think it was your 3 tips for beginners. Again, I'm not glazing you or whatever the kids call it. It's I'm genuinely happy that content of this quality is kind of being put out there.
Love it.
You know, Mountbatten too. Not to make him seem like Mountbatten puts out shit, because he doesn't. But with the amount of glazing I've done, I feel really bad. But I believe it was 3 tips for new players, which is don't sell credit boosters and stuff. I see a lot of people. I did that back when they weren't even credit boosters. I sold a whole bunch of shit because I was like, I have 900 of this flag. I don't need it. I want the money. And then lo and behold,
need
I
money.
need the flags.
Need flags.
And it's the exact same way for boosters. Again, I've been playing so long. I think I legitimately have like 9,000 blue boosters for everything. I had so much shit stockpiled up that I'm not going to have a booster problem. But again, not everybody is as fortunate as I am to be in that position. And I think that kind of reiterating the importance of boosters that you're doing and Wargaming explaining how they work is good too. Because I've done a whole bunch of I don't play with Z anymore, again, because I'm trash. But I go and I'll play with basically anybody else who'll take me. And there'll be times where, you know, I'll be like, oh, hey, you know, it's nice to get a win, nice to get that credit booster. And the guy's like, what? What's a credit booster? I'm like, you are... Is this a joke? You have like 5 tier 10s.
It's going to take you so long to get ships.
Yeah, it's like, are you sure? Yeah, you know, I have 20,000 silver right now.
Oh. Small number.
That's
Can you
very
afford
small.
ammo?
It's fucking...
That's like a shell in the Yami.
the crew in port is going to go on strike because there's not enough money. But again, something that I don't even really think about. I think that it's good to constantly educate people, because then, yeah, it'd take this guy and be like, okay, so you put these on and then your money goes up and then you're not poor anymore. And he was like, oh, I didn't even know these were here. And I'm like, That's terrifying.
I think
sorry.
I was just going to say, I think all of those bonuses, like there's so many simple, nuanced ways that you can get bonuses added that like people don't understand. I didn't join a clan until after I was like a level 17 or whatever, because I didn't think you could. And like you can join a clan super early. I had no idea.
I think almost right away. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I freaking like fought to get to 17, and I was like, yes, I can finally do it. And like I could have done it the whole time.
Yeah.
And I just was missing out. And it's not a lot, you know, and if the clans you can get into easy and early, like they're not going to necessarily be all, you know, maxed out or whatever, but like it's bonus. It helps you level up faster. It's something.
It's bonus, and it's a community as well.
Yeah.
You can go to people and be like, hey, I've been ass in Khabarovsk. You're not ass in Khabarovsk. Where can you meet me in the middle here? You know, let's talk business. And having that community is another thing that I think is incredibly powerful. I've met people in this game that I've grown across the country and gone international to meet.
Cool.
You can build. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed.
That's cool.
It was terrifying the first time. I was going to Texas to visit some friends, and I had a connecting flight in Orlando, and my grandparents lived down in Florida, and they came through, and they're like, here's $200. That will, you know, that'll buy you a night in a hotel in case he tries to steal your kidney. And I'm like, okay.
Same thing happened to me.
Kidneys?
Okay.
Beginning of the year.
Yeah.
No,
but
yeah.
What?
No, I met some people from this game. Went up to Missouri, to St. Louis, and he was like, "Yeah, no, you can just stay in my basement and stuff." And I was like, "All right, cool." And then my parents were like, "No," and my girlfriend was like, "No," and I'm like, "Yeah, but it's free."
My grandma, again, wonderful woman. I love my grandparents to death. She was like, well, you know, we just don't want you to get raped. And I'm like, I have you seen me? I don't think that's going to happen. But I'll take the $200 and the Best Western gift card. I appreciate it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And, but yeah, having that community can be a very, very powerful door, even if you don't end up finding friends that, you know, it's been 6 or 7 years that I've had my boats friends. Even if you don't find people like that, even working and operating in a clan is still very, very beneficial to your development as a WoW player. Playing in divs, having somebody on your shoulder and be like, hey, dipshit, do not run into the cap. Oh, okay. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll turn around. You know, having those differing opinions and those differing perspectives is very, very powerful. And it's a very, very powerful tool to develop as a player. So clans are another thing that I'm like, yes, please. Like, and you'll have people who are like, oh, it's a 38% shitter clan. It's like, it's a clan. You're getting bonuses.
Right.
You're working with people. You're building team cohesion skills.
Now we've gone to Typhoon with 41% players before, simply because they can listen to directions.
Yes,
it's as simple as that.
I have people who are like, because again, with where I am in Bonxi and the reputation that Bonxi has built up, I'll have people who have like a 38% win rate DM me, and they'll be like, I want to join your community so I can get your hacks. And I'm like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
I don't have a life. That's why my tag is purple. That's what goes on here. I don't even play anymore. I basically send my minions off to do it. I don't do anything. But I always try and pivot and be like, hey, even if you don't find your home with us, finding your home is still a very integral part on your WoW's journey. Because even, again, like I said, man, even if the as long as you're able to get into an atmosphere where people are, say you're level 5 and you're surrounded by level 6s and level 7s, that's still, you still can learn, you can still move up, and it's still great.
We just started a second. My clan has been full now for a while. We just started a second one to try to be like a feeder clan coming into it. So if anybody listens to this and they're like, I don't know anywhere to go, like, check us out. We'll grab them.
There we go.
There you go.
You said that. I'm up to 6 now, buddy.
Let's go.
Do you
manage them all, or do you have people that manage them?
Oh no, I delegate. Okay. You can ask a guy called Nuke, guy called Law, guy called Emerald. I could keep going on. I've got some great people that help me run it. By help me run it, I mean they run it.
Yeah.
I think Bonks has like 6 if you include El Bonco.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That's still long live El Bonco. But it's kind of Bonks has always been a community, but everything's individually ran. So I'll have people who will come to me and they'll be like, well, hello, Captain Greene of Bonk Z. I'd like to apply to Bonky. And I'm like, that's great. Don't fucking talk to me. That's not me. You gotta go talk to this person. And they're like, but you're in Bonk Z. You can tell them to put me in so I can apply through you. And I'm like, that's not how this works, buddy.
Right.
Because something that I have always been a massive fan of is personal development, and developing players. As I said at the beginning, my goal is to get improve every person I come across, because if people get better and the knowledge base gets bigger and Dan the Plumber stops running into the middle of the map and dying in his Yamato at the beginning of every game, all that does is improve the play quality of everybody.
Sure.
Because you don't have some other dude tweaking out because their team's down a battleship. Like, it just filters up when everybody is constantly improving and getting better. So that's something I very much try and propagate. And that's why with Bonky, they'll be like, hey man, what would you do? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not my clan. Like, you're gonna have to sink or swim. I'll give advice, but I'm not dealing with this. This is, you gotta overcome this hurdle, buddy. And I do that with players, and I do that with officers and stuff, and some of the other clans. And because again, development, as long as you're constantly taking steps forward, no matter how small they are, you're moving forward.
Oh,
which is kind of the way that I look at things. That, and I do act like a little bit of a tyrannical overlord sometimes. That's also good too. So I get to flex my ego, and I get to improve people. But I also have people that I delegate to as well. Like I have somebody, Chuck Wamu. He runs all of my competitive stuff now because I just can't be asked to do it. Again, it's one of those situations where I've recognized that my Boomer 2018 Moskva on Rock plays probably aren't that good anymore. So I'll push the paper. You just deal with that. All right. That's about the top and bottom of it on my end. Anybody else have anything else?
Nothing else has exploded in the meantime over here, so
nobody cares. We can't talk about that, man.
No, we got to talk about Lesta and such, which is probably the most interesting thing that's happened in a while.
Honestly, I still, that still just blows my mind. And I think online I just saw like FSB outside of the left headquarters, and I was like, okay, this might be a little funky.
I do have a question for Paint. Are those real bullets in your hat? Okay, they look kind of real.
Yeah, they're dummy rounds.
Oh, they're dummy rounds? Oh.
Yeah.
Thought they were like because you can get that because Tula makes that.
Oh, that's the wrong camera.
They're spent. Yeah, okay.
It's still very cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I was looking for hats like when this whole thing started, I started to say this earlier, but like, so I streamed COD for a while, and like nobody cared. I streamed World of Warships, nobody cared. And I started streaming on TikTok, and it immediately started to kind of pop off a little bit. And I have wanted to stream, and like be successful, right? Like everybody does. And I'm like, I'm going all in. Like I am going all in, and I will invest in this thing every single day, and invest more and more, and just see what happens. So I had this.
Oh,
I had this pirate hat. Yeah, I had this pirate hat to start with. Like it was like $12.99 on Amazon, right, or whatever. And then I was trying to use an aircraft carrier, and it was going terrible. And so I went to Walmart and I bought these.
Yeah, that's the other thing that D Square. Like, I want you to know, anytime you play an aircraft carrier and you put those aviators on, somebody's always watching Twitch on Bonks, and recently it's been a lot of you. We go ape shit when those things go on. I want you to know that.
So we do a thing where like people have to get to 50,000. We get 50,000 likes on TikTok, and once every 50,000 like milestone, we bring out an aircraft carrier. So I don't usually carry or main like the whole day or whatever. But when we hit those milestones, I'll grab it, and I'll be like, we call it the thing. So like I'll stop. We make all of our own music on stream too, and like same thing, just like going trying to just make this thing nuts, right? And so like, but we'll stop the music, and I don't know. I was gonna play music right now, but I don't know if it had come through or not. But I have it up. Like the Top Gun music starts, and there's a certain time where like boom, the glasses go on, and it's just ridiculous. But like, I digress. I say all that to say, the hat, I was looking for a good hat and like the next cool, awesome pirate hat. And I've been searching online for a while, and I saw this thing. And I was like, oh my God, like I have to have that. And I bought it immediately. I was like, that is exactly the hat that I need. I don't know. Go ahead.
People often underestimate the impact even the cheapest of props can have.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have a pirate hat or anything. And the hockey jerseys behind me are not cheap. But something I did do is back when I was at school, I was on the student government, and I oversaw boards. Basically, if somebody committed a disciplinary infraction, they would go before a board that was one student government, the disciplinary person, and one random staff member. And they always picked me, and they always picked my teacher as the staff member. And my teacher is an ex-MP with a God complex. So if you do not compellingly answer his questions, he will drill you. And he got a little bit of a nickname at the school. He got executioner. Oh, you got Robertson on your board. You're an executioner. So I bought him like a $12 executioner's, like dog shit executioner's. And he started wearing that around. And I'll always remember it because we were sitting on this board, and this kid had like trashed the bathroom, like ripped down stalls and stuff. And so the kid's sitting there, and he's just like, oh, I know how this is going to go. I'm just going to say I'm sorry, and everything will be good. And then Robertson walked in like the Undertaker wearing the fucking hood, and the kid was just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I have been
So regardless of what it is, I mean, taking a prop and running with it, dude, it's so powerful. Like I said, the thing that got all of us was you sinking an aircraft carrier, the Kremlin, and you whipped out the horn, and all of us were just like, what the fuck? What is this?
Every time I sink a ship, when I first started, I stream on TikTok, and in TikTok Studio, there's like random sound effects, and there was a trumpet, and I was like, I used to go like this, just with my hands, and be like, whatever. And then I looked at buying a trumpet, and I couldn't, like a trumpet is ridiculous. I understand. I know that is not a trumpet. It's a bugle. I know.
It's what had you fueled.
It self-identifies as a trumpet. So it's
trumpet-esque noises. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, like I did it for a while and then I bought it, and my wife was like, "You're an idiot. Like, is there what did you buy?" And I'm like, "Listen, trust me, it's gonna be awesome." And now, off we go. Same thing with the mustache. This is absurd. I grew it one day like as a joke, and then when I started putting on the aviators and I had a little stash, like it was cool. Well, now. Like every time I get a new follower, I grow a new mustache hair. That's what I tell everybody. So I'm like, dude, I can't shave it. Like I have to keep
it. There'd be riots if you shave the mustache.
I know.
Yeah. I posted the clip in there again, Mountbatten. I don't know if you watched it. It's.
I can't play it right now. It'll script the stream audio.
Podcast
audio, but I'll check it
out.
But
yeah, again, the joy that you put through our VCs after this, I want you to know.
Well, that makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
There will be more trumpet. I'll be live again in like 30 minutes or less. There'll be more trumpets tonight. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
I hope.
there will be. 100%. But yeah, actually, you can post all your stuff as well, and we'll put that into the show description.
Yeah, please do.
100%, because I definitely want to funnel people your way. Because again, I can be a very scraggly bastard when it comes to actually enjoying content, and I wouldn't have worked with Mountbatten if I didn't like Mountbatten stuff. And I definitely would not have reached out to you as fast if I didn't like your stuff as well. I think that you're destined for greatness in this. So I'm there, and I'm happy that I came across you.
Well, I'm truly honored to hear you keep saying that. I'm at an interesting crossroads. I mentioned earlier, but like I actually just lost my job, and I don't need anybody to feel sorry for me. But it was kind of expected. But my company went bankrupt, like lost my job, and I'm in a position where I'm like, you know what, YOLO in it. Dude, I'm going all in. So I can't do this forever, but I'm going to try for a couple months. Like this is what I am doing. I'm streaming. I have a company that I started that like supports content creators as well. And like, I'm just going to dive into those two things and ship it.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
We'll see what happens, man.
You're destined.
You sound like the main character right now, man. That's.
I'm just a goofy dork with a
trumpet.
Yeah, it's a trumpet. Hold on.
I said the wrong thing and he could hear me. I didn't block. I don't want to offend it.
The trumpet gods are upset now, dude. You're not going to get any kills.
I'm going to have to honk it later. Dude, there's a couple clips, if you dig back, where my sound effect doesn't work, and then I have to like actually blow this thing. Dude, it's terrible. It's so I don't know how to do that. It's awful.
It's all in the amateur.
Yep.
Well, that about does it for me. I know you said you have to get ready soon, and I look like haggard shit on video, so I'm gonna.
At least you don't look blue.
Yeah, that's true. That's you, Papa Smurf.
My light's back there right now.
He's been sad the whole time.
We were using the light to fix the fan, so it's tired.
Is that a Millennium Falcon up on the gun safe?
That is the UCS Millennium Falcon. That's the super expensive replica
lightsaber.
Obi-Wan lightsaber. I'm sorry, that's Luke's lightsaber from Episode 6. Yeah.
Yeah. When it was smaller, it looked like a bong. So I didn't want to ask a question about
teacher,
that. But then, hey man, to each their own.
2025, dude.
Exactly. It gets boring in the South. I know. I've been there.
Looks like it's not a bong.
I didn't know. It's small. I just saw a neck. Yes.
I got. Okay,
oh, sorry.
Probably,
No.
Probably in the South, I probably do.
Dude, that's.
I've
been in this.
That's the Millennium Falcon, Luke's lightsaber. That's assorted ammunitions. Then I got all my museum ship hats on the handles for the safes. So that's what's back there.
All right. I got it. It kept my ADHD kept flaring up. It's like Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars.
Dude,
Star
so
Wars.
like, what's really funny is that during like COVID and stuff, when we would do like the video calls and stuff for work, I didn't, I didn't put two and two together that this setup might make some others go, huh? Because of the 4K web camera, and when I had the proper lighting set up and stuff, because I would go from like doing wood worship stuff, making videos and stuff, and then like go to like meetings and stuff for school. So like I get in these meetings, all these other teachers, they're using like their iPhone cameras or their school assigned laptop web cameras, and here I am with lighting, a 4K camera, studio mic, headphones and stuff. And when I got into the Zoom meeting, I was like, oh, this is I just kind of
Yeah.
I got laid off last fall, and I had to do a lot of interviews as well. And I got laid off from an IT job as well.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Yes, sir. It was great. It was great for I think 15 months, and then it wasn't.
Yep.
But I've actually hidden a lot of it. I have a lot of. I'm a very big hockey guy, and then I have a Warhammer Black Templars flag behind me, and I did not blur my background once on Zoom, and I had to explain. Yes, I had to explain to the person that is not a Bavarian Eagle, and that was very awkward. But I got saved because the other person doing the interview was a massive Bruins fan, so.
Awesome.
That carried me. Once I explained, I'm like, no, it's Warhammer. They're like, and then the guy was like, is that a fucking McAvoy jersey? I'm like, oh, okay. I think I might have just been saved. I think I might have just clawed this back, especially because this guy is saying fucking during an interview.
Yes, yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good internship.
I've done a couple job interviews, and like I don't really want to talk about the fact that I'm a aspiring streamer in an interview necessarily. And every time they're like, "What's that? What do you got that microphone? You got like a pretty good setup. What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just content create." And like that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't because people go to like porn.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, that's.
I haven't been out of a job that long yet. I don't know.
Oh, that's
I had the Coors Banquet sign too has also gotten me in trouble. I had somebody who was like, so you just like an alcoholic? And I was like, okay, I know what it looks like. That was a gag gift.
Dude, like, I gotta do like the whole Superman double life thing because like teacher and like social media interacting with people, like there's a policy where like you're not supposed to interact with like children online or anything. I'm like, okay, cool. Wood Worship's average player age is like 42 or something ridiculous like that. So like, okay, I'm good there. But like, I'm just like my students have no idea I do anything like this at all. And I fear the day that they stumble across a Wood Worship's video or something and it's mine.
I had one more story, and then we'll clear it out because I know it's getting close to stream time for you.
Yeah.
Back when I was at school, it was technical college. I was training to work in IT actually. My teacher found the podcast and played World of Warships, and he did not say anything for like 3 months, and he just kept commenting and commenting and commenting, and then one day. He just kind of came up behind me. I was like, "Oh, hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "Why haven't you responded to my comment?" I was like, "What? What?" It takes a lot to stun lock me. Usually, I'm quick on my feet, but I was just like, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, I really like the podcast this week," and I was like.
This isn't allowed.
This feels wrong. Like it feels like I work in porn or something. I don't know why. Like I just kind of have that like social taboo where there's no reason. There's no reason, especially on a podcast like this, where it's
not OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's not OnlyFans. It's historical. It's about a game. It's nothing weird. I'm not like, oh yeah, this week in anime 23. Yeah, I'm not like that. This is just me talking about history and kind of extrapolating on stuff like that. But it was still just like I was like, please, don't say that too loudly.
The closest thing I had to that happen was we were on World War I, and the kids were doing an assignment on the computer. I'm just walking around and stuff, and then one of them, they have YouTube pulled up, and they're watching, I can't remember what video it was, but it was on the lead up to World War I, and in the suggested bar, there be my Jumpman video, and I'm like...
You're like, no videos!
Quick, class is over!
So I actually was like, oh, so we're just going to... I closed his laptop, like, oh, you don't have to worry about watching that video. We're going to skip that one, guys. Don't have to do number 17.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm like, I don't know if they'll recognize my voice through a microphone.
No, they will.
They're stuck in this room with me for 90 minutes at a pop. They're gonna recognize it.
I don't mention my name a lot online. I just usually go off my handle. My teacher is able to pick it up immediately.
Okay.
So,
dude, so that's like Western Sim.
Yeah.
We get to like the partitioning of India and Pakistan. I'm like, because the real life Mountbatten was in charge of that. I'm like, we're just gonna glaze on over this section, guys. We're not gonna really.
Yeah, we're gonna. Not that type of guy. Don't worry about it. We're talking about the British guy, not anything else that comes up. I will deduct points from your grade.
We're India and Pakistan got separated. They still don't like each other today. All right, next topic, please.
It was a bad breakup. Anyways, moving on. Don't Google Mountbatten.
Oh my god!
So it's like your wife and the Sydney Sweeney joke.
Yeah.
We're living in the hills. Don't ask me how I know who Sydney Sweeney is.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, I think this is the third time I've said I think we're good.
I think we are good. I'm gonna press the stop recording button, then it will be done.
Okay.
I guess that's an exit. That's an end to it.
I'm pressing the button.
I'm pressing the button. Bye.